Okay. So next skill. So we talked about how to find the z-score. We talked about how to find the area, even if they want the area to the right. And if you remember, that's when you do the complement of whatever it says on the chart. Okay. So now let's talk about how the actual word problems are going to be worded. Okay, so we know how to use the chart now. We know how to find the probability of being less than a certain value, or remember, probability and area mean the same thing. But let's look at how a problem might be worded. Okay, so I put a problem up there. And you may need time to kind of copy it. If you need to, pause the video till you have it copied. So basically, let's look at the key part. So they gave us the average or the mean test score for a freshman placement test. Oh, that should be an EN. So the mean is 79. So they gave us the population mean, or we don't even care what kind of mean. They gave us the mean, which is 79. And they gave us the standard deviation, which is 12.1. You need both those pieces. And so what they want us to do, given that information, find the probability that a randomly selected, oh, for crying out loud, a randomly selected student has a, golly, what kind of spaz was writing this thing? Has a test score less than 60. Remember, less than something is what your chart's going to tell you. Okay, I can't go to my chart and pull up a score of 60 because the chart only tells me in terms of a z-score. So you have a first step of the first thing is you need to figure out what is that person's z-score. I know what their test score was on this particular placement test. But your step one is find the z-score. Well, you have your formula, hopefully, that you copied down before. And that was your z-score is the actual test score minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Okay, so for this problem, the test score is 60. That's what I want the probability of, 60, minus the mean, which is 79. And you're going to divide that by 12.1. Some things that you need to know about your calculators. You have to keep in mind order of operations. So you have two choices. Either do 60 minus 79 in your calculator and hit enter, and that's going to give you negative 17. And then do divided by 12.1. Okay, and that will work out just fine. Or, I'm going to erase that. Or you can use parentheses around the top. And you can do parentheses 60 minus 79, close parentheses, and then do the divided by. If you don't do that, if you try to do it just in one step, your calculator is only going to divide the second one. So that's what I want you to do. So when you do this problem, the other thing you need to know is we always round z-scores to hundredths. Remember, think dollars and cents. So you're going to get your calculators out. You're going to do 60 minus 79. You're going to divide that by 12.1, and you're going to get 1.57. Remember, you're going to have to use your rules of rounding here. In this case, it was easy, but 1.57. That's that. Oh, you know what? Be careful. Whoops. It's negative 1.57. I know that. I should have expected it because if my average is 79, and I'm talking about less than a score of 60, they're below average. So I should expect a negative z-score. Okay, so step one, that's what we did. We found the z-score. Okay, I'm looking for probability. Probability is what the chart is going to tell you. I had to get this z-score so that I could then use the chart. So let's pull, oops, is that going to let me go? All right, let's scoot that out of the way. Let's scoot this thing up. So my z-score is negative 1.57. So let's pull up the z-score. Chart. All right, so we have our chart. We've chosen the correct chart because we're here on the negative one. And we want to go, so our z-score was negative 1.57. So we want to go to the negative 1.5 row. Oops, hold on. All right, my phone rang, and I answered my phone, and now I don't remember what we're doing. But, okay, that's what to do. All right, so let's see, z-score, negative 1.5 row. So we got to scoot this thing down. until we get to the negative 1.5 row. And that is right here, negative 1.5. And then the z-score was negative 1.57. So here is where we have a 7 in the hundredths place. So those two, the row and the column, meet at that number right there. So that number, 0.058. Good gosh, that dog is going nuts. 0.05821. That's the probability. So that's the answer to the final question right there. That's the probability. 0.05821. That's the probability of somebody scoring less than a 60 on that original test. All right, did you follow that? Let's recap what we did. Let me advance to another slide. Hello. Oh, there we go. All right, so let's recap what we did. So we had that typed up problem. It was looking for probability. They gave us a mean score of 79. They gave us a standard deviation of 12.1, if I remember correctly. And what they said is, what's the probability of somebody scoring less than 60? Okay, now I need to point this out. The phrase less than 60, we're not going to do this like we did chapter 4, because we're talking about area. So don't say, oh, less than 60 really starts at 59. You're not doing any of that. You're using straight up 60 in the formula. So remember what we did is we said, well, probability is what the chart tells us. And that's our goal, is to look up the score on the chart, and it's going to give us the answer. However, you can't use the chart unless you first have a z-score. So that's what we did. We took the test score that we wanted the probability of minus the mean. We divided by the standard deviation. That gave us that negative 1.57 number. And then we got to go to the chart, and the chart gave us a final answer of 0.0. You know, it really would be helpful if I would actually have the chart in front of me instead of using it on this. But the chart gave us that whatever it was. I don't know, 0, 3, something, something, something. All right, that's how the problems are going to be worded. So I'm going to close this video, and I'm going to give you some more examples. So the examples that we're going to do, we'll do an example of if they want the probability of being more than a certain score. And then we want the probability of being between two numbers. So those will be the next two videos.